What's up everyone, it's Scotty with Money Investing. So in this video, we are going to be talking about Robinhood, ticker symbol HOOD or Hood. And they just announced 24/5 trading. And this is a brand new concept. They're the first company to ever do this, where they are going to extend all these trading hours to 24 hours, 5 days a week. And they had an announcement on May 10th, I believe, and they're going to roll that out on May 15th. To a select number of customers. So I'm going to break down that report and that announcement, and of course talk a little bit about their first quarter fiscal year 2023 earnings, their numbers that came out earlier in the week. And again, we're going to talk a little bit about what this company is all about, talk about the technical analysis as well. So hope you guys enjoyed this video and find it helpful. Make sure that you drop a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're just joining us for the first time. The link to our Discord and Patreon is going to be down below with that 16% annual discount also available. So link's going to be down below if you want to join, be a part of our money investing community. So this right here is going to be the 24-hour market for Robinhood, and that's what they're calling it. So Robinhood 24-hour market. And they mentioned that we are relentlessly focused on building products tailored to fit people's lives and make investing more accessible to everyone, and not just a select few. And we've often heard from customers that they can't find the time to trade or invest during regular market hours because of work, family, or anything else. And that's why they are introducing this 24-hour market. And also, market moving news or any catalyst can break anywhere at any time. So for example, if Tesla reports their delivery numbers for the previous month on a Sunday, or Google has its keynote speech on a Saturday, or Berkshire Hathaway has their shareholder meeting on a Sunday. I mean, a lot of these things are going to move the market, and it's going to give you the opportunity to basically trade starting Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern all the way through Friday at, I believe, 8 p.m. Eastern. So that's really what the entire goal is, to keep it going, ongoing forever, like something like crypto is at the moment. So this is how it's actually going to work. You select your stock or ETF. By the way, there's only 43 stocks right now on the app that are available. 43 stocks and ETFs that can be traded in this 24-hour market list. And you can only do limit orders. So there's no market prices, and I think that makes sense because it's gonna be very difficult to connect buyers and sellers in an illiquid environment, right? Because the spreads are going to be way too wide if you go with a market order. So limit orders are going to be the ones to, so that's why they can do a better job in connecting buyers and sellers with the bids and the asks. And it's going to be, I think, a select number of companies. I think Apple, Amazon, Tesla, some of these companies are included because they have a very, very high, large volumes, and tradable volumes is really important, because at the end of the day, I mean, if the stocks that you're trading are not liquid during market hours, you sure as hell can believe, and excuse me for the language, that they're not going to be liquid while the markets are closed. Or apparently now in this example, they're still open, but of course we know the exchanges aren't open. So it's only going to be 43 stocks and ETFs, and they're going to be, again, Tesla and I think Apple and a few other companies that they mentioned, I think, in one of the other reports. Only limit orders, and you can select like different order types. So it's going to be 24-hour market, actual market open, or limit order or something like that. And then you can select the number of shares, of course. Now this does create more questions than answers, but I think they're going to start rolling this out on what is it, May 15th with select customers, and then everybody in June. So first week of June, they're gonna release it to everybody. I don't use Robinhood. I used to actually use Robinhood in the past, but then I switched over because of, again, just poor customer service and those security concerns. I don't use it anymore. But if somebody watching this video, if you use Robinhood and you do get access to it eventually, if not on May 15th, but then do let us know how that works, because I'm actually quite interested to learn, curious to see how the whole dynamics are going to be working, like in terms of the whole landscape of buyers and sellers, the liquidity, the number of stocks, order execution, the spreads, all those things. I mean, there's a lot of questions, right, with this 24-hour trading. Of course, with respect to volatility and how that's gonna really affect the price the following day when the markets actually do open. So there's a lot of moving pieces here that I think are going to be worth understanding. Now this right here is going to be their first quarter 2023 numbers. Now I don't think I've analyzed Robinhood in more detail on the channel, so I figured I might as well just do a video, talk a little bit about this company, Now, I've not been a huge fan of Robinhood ever since the AMC and GameStop saga, right? Because of the order flow and that they were selling and passing on to some of the big brokerage houses. So I've not really been a fan of Robinhood, and for those reasons, I've not been interested in investing in this company to begin with. But that doesn't mean that you follow the same thing or you follow basically the same ideology. By the way, this right here is OBS, so you can ignore that because I was having some issues. But yeah, so when it comes to Robinhood trading flat, so I wanted to analyze this for you and see, if there's any opportunity here at under 10 bucks, because it's been at that level for quite some time. The market cap's now sitting at just a little bit under $9 billion, and it's very close to its cash on the balance sheet. So again, we've been talking about, this idea, this concept of companies trading at their cash value, which represents opportunity with a very, very low risk. So that's what I want to go over in this video as well. So when it comes to the actual number of funded accounts, unique funded accounts, which Robinhood calls NCFA, that's your net cumulative funded accounts, they're sitting at 23.1 million. And that was an increase of about 120,000 quarter over quarter. That's, it's kind of weird. They say 120,000 to 23.1 million in Q1, and that's a quarter over quarter. And year-over-year change up 330,000 as well. So they have seen a very, very steady growth here. Of course, first quarter 21, they saw that big jump coming off of a huge liquidity sort of boost here. Many people are trading stocks going higher and higher, and they have been able to maintain that cumulative funded account number go up regardless of how the market's been doing. This right here are all the different features and different products that they have been launching. So, we've got advanced charts, we got crypto wallet, of course, we got now gold cash sweep, we got margin outside of gold, we got options trading. So there's a lot of different things that they have launched, and these are some things that they are looking at in 2023. So for active traders, they're looking at stock screeners, 24-hour market that I just went over. The futures market is also going to be available sometime in 2023, and other opportunities expanding in UK, Robinhood Wallet, Robinhood Connect, and then other deeper relationships when it comes to retirement, gold, and advisory business they're also looking at in 2023. This right here is going to be MAU, so monthly active users. So regardless of the active accounts, the engagement has been going down, and that makes sense, right? Because if the markets are going down, fewer of us are going to be interested or really motivated to look at our portfolios because, well, we're losing money, right? In 2022, 2021, we've seen the markets obviously sell off, get down to a bear market, and I think it's going to follow a very similar trend. And you can see the first quarter as the markets have started to regain momentum, they're seeing that uptick once again. And this uptick is actually happening for the first time since the second quarter of 21. So it makes perfect sense why people are not paying as much attention to stocks as they were back when the markets were going higher. And we're seeing that once again tick up a little bit in the first quarter to 11.8 million. At one point, this was more than double to over 21.3 million. So that's again a pretty significant sell-off, or not really a sell-off, but a downtrend for monthly active users for Robinhood. Now this right here is going to be assets under custody. Now this gives us a little bit more insight into how much money Robinhood is how much money is there in Robinhood's ecosystem and on their platform, and how much of that is in equities versus cryptos versus options versus cash. So what you're seeing is that they're mentioning that increased 26%. To $78 billion is the total number of assets under custody by Robinhood, and that's primarily due to higher valuations of growth stocks and continued net deposits. So they're also seeing an increase in deposits, and I think Vlad, who's the CEO of Robinhood, also mentioned on CNBC that as some of these smaller regional banks, medium banks have seen outflows, a lot of that money has also found its way over to Robinhood because of the higher savings rate, which they offer. 4% is what they're offering right now, with a $2 million FDIC guarantee through their cash sweep system. So that is a very substantial number, $2 million, which obviously makes a lot of sense given the environment that we're in, as well as a 4% interest. That's a great deal. And that's why they're seeing a lot of cash deposits flow into Robinhood. But of course, as stocks have moved up, you can see the equity values have also increased from 46 to 55 billion quarter over quarter. And the cash amount has also increased from 8 to over $11 billion. And cryptocurrencies also grown about 50% from 8 billion to $12 billion at the moment. So very nice growth there. Net deposits, annualized growth rate was 29% in first quarter and 18% over the past 12 months. So they did see about a $4.4 billion increase in deposits in the first quarter 2023, and that's about a 29% annualized growth rate for the company. So pretty strong number there. And this is the average revenue per user. And I was actually surprised to learn Their average revenue per user is $77. That is actually pretty good, and up 16% sequentially, but obviously substantially down from first quarter 21. So from 2 years ago when it was at $137, it is obviously lower, but it has been moving in the right direction from $53 now up to $77. So moving in the right direction. So really what we're seeing is Robinhood normalize, right? You're seeing these rates normalize now because during COVID, when everybody was at home trading stocks, you saw Robinhood's numbers really spike. So they were pulled forward. And now we're seeing that normalization play through. We saw that decline, and now it's starting to move up on a more consistent basis post-pandemic. And this right here is the total net revenues, which were in the first quarter $441 million, 16% up sequentially and up over 47% year over year. The one thing that was quite interesting was their net interest revenue. So this is something that is pretty big, $208 million. You can see that it's now eclipsed the actual transaction-based revenue for the company, which for the longest time, if you take the first quarter, second quarter 21, transaction was the main source of revenue for Robinhood. But since their assets under custody, so AUCs have grown to 78 billion, they are now able to make a lot of money on net interest income as well. One more thing that I want to point out, so yeah, 78 billion, so that's down from 102 billion in their second quarter 21. First quarter was about $81 billion. So they didn't really make as much money on their net interest income as they're doing now, which is $208 million, which is their biggest source of income at the moment. What this tells me is that they are doing a better job in keeping existing users in the Robinhood ecosystem to use other products as well, right? And while users using their other products are able to generate that net interest income, which is a breakdown over here of that $208 million. So some of it is coming from cash sweep, some of it is coming from interest on segregated cash and cash equivalents and deposits. A lot of it is coming from interest on corporate cash and investments. Some of it is coming from margin interest, securities lending, and interest expense related to credit facilities as well. So that's their net interest revenue generated over $208 million, up 25% on a quarter-over-quarter basis. Balance sheet, phenomenal. So they're sitting on almost $6 billion worth of cash and marketable securities. So again, if you take into account the cash at $6 billion and the market cap right now at $8.6 billion, very, very close to their cash value. In fact, at 673, I think they are pretty much going to be at their cash value. They're going to be trading at their cash amount on the balance sheet, but that's not to say that they're trading at their net liquidation value. Those are two very different things because their net liquidation value would be close to $3 to $4 billion because the net debt right now is about $3 billion, negative $3 billion. That means they've got more cash than debt on the balance sheet, so that's phenomenal. But their net liquidation value might be a little bit more than $3 or $4 billion, so to speak, because right now total assets are $27 billion. And if I take into account, let's see, goodwill, if I want to see goodwill here, net intangible is about 123 million, and I can't see any other long-term assets is $16 billion. So, you know what? Their net liquidation value might actually be a little bit higher. Actually, no. Yeah, because total liabilities are $20 billion, so I take that back. Net total liabilities are $20.7 billion, and their total assets are $27 billion. So even if we do take out liabilities from their assets and there's no goodwill on the balance sheet or intangible assets, a very, very small amount, we're still looking at about $6 to $7 billion of net liquidation value. So that is very much in line with where the price is right now at 8.6 billion. So, that is one way to look at this company. But then, of course, another way is, how much growth do they really have moving forward and the relevance of Robinhood for the long term. Now, I've got separate issues, when it comes to ESG. I'm not fully convinced with their corporate governance from that perception. From that perspective, I'm not really interested in Robinhood, regardless of what it offers. Because again, I made up my mind back then, that I'm not for it, so I'm not interested in that. But I wanted to kind of still present the opportunity because it is again trading at its close to its cash value, very close to its net liquidation value. So there is little to no risk. Of course, there's still always risk because any company can misuse the cash on the balance sheet and start taking on too much debt. So that's when the thesis changes. But the point is that at this moment, they've got a good balance sheet with more cash than debt on the balance sheet. And of course, the potential opportunity if they execute well with their 24-hour market opportunity, with more revenues coming in, with more net interest income coming in, there is potential for it to get back above $12, $15 possibly even back up to almost $19, $20 eventually. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. What we're really seeing is a lot of sideways consolidation for Robinhood. Maybe if it gets down to 673 or 670 or sub $6 per share, maybe it's going to be something worth considering for me personally. But right now it's just I can't get myself over the fence when it comes to ESG. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, find it helpful. Make sure that you drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're just joining us for the first time. The link to our Discord and Patreon is going to be down below. As always, happy investing, and I'll see you all in the next video.